Hi, this is Dave Chenault with Skylight Systems, and in this video, I'm going to show you how we have incorporated the Workflow Manager from Microsoft into SideKick365 Forms. I'll show you how we configured a workflow, and I'll go ahead and run that workflow on a form that we created in HTML and then bound into the Forms package with the manager. So the interesting thing to note is that we're using the Workflow Manager from Microsoft, and this is the exact same tool that is used by folks like K2 or Nintex. They use the Workflow Manager as well, except many times they have put on a more fancy front end than we have, but it's the exact same engine behind the scenes, and I think the price differential would be surprising to you to see the functionality we can offer. So let's jump in and take a look. I'm on the home page and I've got the Forms package up and running right now, our add-in for SharePoint. And this is running on Office 365, and I have a list of tasks here, and I also have a list of some forms that I've got created I'm running on. Let's go ahead and create a new form right now called Procurement. And again, this form was created with HTML and bound in here, and I'll make a date of today. And the request name will be a gold medallion. Let's just make it a gold bar. And I'm going to request that. And the solicitation number, these are just fields I've added in here, and they're different date types to show you how that works. We'd like to have this thing closed by the end of September. And the lead evaluator is user 3. And user 4 is the secondary evaluator. So the way this will work is that it'll first go to user 3, then it'll go to user 4, then it'll go back to Alan as the final person that requested it, and I'll show you how we did that. It's an RFP. The description is, I need a gold bar, and the funding source will be the district. The justification is in case of emergency. And it's pending. So when I hit save, what will happen is this will kick off the workflow. Just like all the other tools out there, we're using the same basic components, but we're doing it in a much simpler way. So it takes a minute for the workflow tasks to get added. There's nothing new here yet, but if I wait for a moment, I'll see those tasks. While we're doing that, let's go take a look and see what's happening behind the scenes. So there's our gold bar request. And what I'm going to do is take a look at the workflow and see what's happening there. So I just look at workflows. And you can see that that workflow has started. Let's go take a look at it. And when I do that, I can see that it's a 3-step workflow, and that I've got the first task created. It's just waiting now. I can see that there's some emails that have gone out, etc. So let's go and take a look at what's going on. Now, if I go over to Manager and I go into my workflows, you can see my custom entities here. Now I go into workflows and I want to look at the workflow for procurement. And what I'll see that's a 3-step workflow. I've got the lead evaluator, the secondary evaluator, and then the requested by. And the way this works is these are the names of the field on the form. And we'll go back and take a look at that again. But what's going on is these are the names we put in HTML. The lead evaluator is the first step. The secondary evaluator is the second, of course. Then the person that asked it's the third. To make a new work step, it's very easy. I just put down an order. Maybe I want order number 4. I pick the people picker field from the form that I want to use for that work step. In this case, there's only 3. And then I can put a status down there. And we're going to be looking to use these statuses for state workflows in the future. Right now, they just tell you sort of where it is in the workflow. But we're looking actively at how to use state workflows and think that's going to be a big improvement in the product when that gets put in. In any event, there's the workflow. I'll go ahead and just cancel this. And the last thing is that it won't take effect until I assign that workflow to that entity. But we're in good shape right now. I'll just cancel this. Now let's go and take a look at user 3 in their inbox. That would be the lead evaluator, if you remember from our form, and let's go look at that. So what you'll see here is I've got a workflow task assigned. And when I click on that in Firefox, it's really great because I can just click here to open up the form right from the message in my inbox. And what you'll notice, which is even greater, is that the form itself will come up, not a task form. So I'll be able to see the form. I can make comments. I can approve it or reject it. And then the next person in line will get that. So here we go. The form is now opening up in Firefox. It takes a second here because we're switching browsers. And this is all running in Office 365. And when it comes up, I'll have an option here for me to enter in some information about that task in that form. So it's bringing it up here. And you can see the gold bar information, my solicitation number, etc., who put it in. Lead evaluator is 3, secondary is 4, Alan put it in. And let's go on down here and say, I'm fine with this. You can see it has a description of the task. Please review it. And I'm going to approve it. Okay, now when I do this, it should then complete that work step. And then I'll be able to see what user 4 sees. And I'll go into Chrome to see that. So we come back in. The form now should have that work step completed. And again, I've got a lot of things running on my laptop here. So it's recording as well as running the ad in at the same time. Takes a minute. If I scroll down, you can see my information here, and the buttons are now grayed out. So that's good. I'm happy with that. Let's go back in and take a look at the forms itself, the package, and see what we see here. Okay, now if I refresh the page, I should see that user 3 has approved it, and user 4 will have a new task. So we'll wait here a second while it does that. And again, we'll just draw this screen out, and I'll see a task for user 4, and I'll go into Chrome to complete that one, because I want to go into my inbox to see how I'm notified. So there's our user 3 task. And now if I take a look, it's going to be just a second while it creates task number 4 for user 4. If I refresh, we ought to see that in a second. Let's see if we see that. And you can see the status here is approved, etc. I'll give it a moment here, then we'll go into Chrome. Matter of fact, while we're doing that, let's just go into Chrome and see what's happened here. Well, there it is. It came up. So there's user 4. There's the new task that's been assigned through the workflow. And now I'm going to go into Chrome to see that task right here. Let's go click on it. And it'll take a second for it to open. Now let's go ahead and click on that. And what I ought to see now is that gold bar request, and I'll go ahead as a user 4 and make that approval. So there's my gold bar. User 4, as I was expecting, because I'm logged in as user 4, I'll say, I love gold bars. It's been approved. And now what will happen is my last step in this workflow will now go to the initiator, Alan Steiner. And that's over here in my Internet Explorer. So we'll go back here and check what's going on. If I refresh, I should see that user 4 has completed their task. And they have. We're waiting now for the initiator, Alan, to have a workflow task created. So let's go back and review how the workflow was created. It's very simple. All you do is you go to the workflow in the manager. You put down the order that you want it in. You put down who you want it to be approving it and any status you want to add. And you assign that workflow to that entity, and that's all there is to it. And then it starts creating this workflow. Now, again, we'll be improving this and enhancing it, but I think the idea is that it's pretty nice for you to be able to see what's going on. There's nothing extra needed. Everything you need to do these workflows and forms is within Office 365. Microsoft has been kind enough to include a terrific workflow engine for us. And so we're just taking advantage of that, just like all the other vendors like Nintex and K2 do as well. In this case, though, we're leveraging the workflow manager you've already paid for in your Office 365 tenant. So there's nothing extra to purchase. You just have to configure it. Let's go ahead and refresh this. And now I should see a workflow task for Alan. And there it is, just as I had hoped. It's not yet started. But let's go take a look at that. If I go into his inbox in his email, just an Outlook here, I can see now that he has a task. And again, what's really great, and HTML does all this for us, we already have the sample code for you, is the form comes up, not just the task. And you hear a lot about this from the other vendors. It's really not that special. There's just using the tools that Microsoft has given us. We're putting this together in a nice, easy way for you to use it. So now we're in great shape. I'm going to say that this has been, let's go ahead and edit this. I want to change the status, and we can do all this in code, but I'm going to do a few things manually. I'm going to say it's approved. I like this. If I could type, it would be even better. Let me save it. And so you can see I can do changes here on the fly as I need to, which is great. And then I want to go in and approve this final task. So let's go in here and say, I'm fine with this. I like it. And again, I'm just showing you some manual ways to do things. This could all be coded up very easily in JavaScript. So let's approve it. And it just takes a second here. And now this has been completed. Let's go back to the procurement, and we'll look on the home page for starters. And you can see that that workflow task has been completed. And if I go into the workflow itself, behind the scenes, go to my Advanced tab and Workflows, you'll see this workflow has been completed. And if I click on it, you'll see that we have an entire audit history available to us and the 3 tasks. You can see that they were completed. You can also see all of the different steps that occurred, when they occurred, what the outcome was. There's a ton of detail here if you ever need auditability. And the beautiful thing is all of the complexity of building a workflow is hidden. Doesn't need to be shown. All you have to do is go into Manager and outline the steps you need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many that might be. And you assign each of those approvers to one of the people pickers that you have on the screen. Now let's look and see what all of this really means. People have spent a lot of money trying to build solutions like this. And the fact that we're able to do this in an app makes this a very attractive solution for a lot of people. Let's go take a look at that form that we had and see what it means when I say I assign it to a people picker. So let's go ahead and make a new form. I'll select a procurement form, just like I did at the start of this video. And what's really cool is that you'll see I can assign anybody to these different work steps as the form is populated. So basically you create the workflow, and then as you're creating a specific form, an instance of that form, like this request, I can put different people's names in here and they'll get the notification and be able to complete the tasks. So it's not locked into a certain person. It's locked into a role. Lead evaluator, secondary evaluator, the person that started it. And then you fill out the value that you want, that you need for that particular form while you create that form, and then they get email notifications. They can click on it. It's all browser-based. This works on a phone, this on a tablet. Anything that can render a browser page will be fine. And again, the beautiful thing is this is leveraging what you already purchased in Office 365. The Workflow Manager comes with your Office 365 subscription. SharePoint is in your Office 365 subscription. Manager is the only tool you need to configure it. And all it's doing is it's putting these definitions into your Office 365 or your on-premise SharePoint environment. Nothing extra to host, nothing extra to purchase. It's all in the product that you've purchased. Okay, so I hope you see how powerful this is, the value that we're offering. And this is just one in a series of videos we've created about SideKick365 forms. There are additional videos on our website, and you can get more information just by sending us an email at info@skylightsystems.com, and that's SKYLITESYSTEMS.com. Thanks for all your time watching this video. I hope you found it interesting and informative. This is Dave Chenault with Skylight Systems.